too mad at us
Whatever.
for going early.
Listen, we warned them last week that because of the Eagles game that this was going to be a flexible Sunday.
And, I mean, even if the Eagles happen to get bounced this week, we've still got the 49ers starting next week.
Right.
So it's a whole thing. It's football. Yeah, what
I'm
can you do?
impressed
Exactly.
about the 49ers. I'm just impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody, even the hardcore Niners fans, were expecting this kind of a season.
Hell no.
All right, Tom. Once your rage subsides, we're gonna need a good sound check. So I'm talking. Keith, why don't you say something?
All right, Tom, how you doing?
All right, let us know how Keith sounds, and then we don't really care how Dave sounds.
Whatever. So
Surprisingly-
mine's the mic that always seems to work.
Yeah, yours never
So-
has an issue. So
Probably has something to do with the volume of my voice.
yes.
I'm such a noob. Hi, how you doing? I'm doing fine.
All right.
Is it
that,
from
got
Pulp
that.
Fiction?
Mr. Vince Vega.
Can you see the chat from where you're sitting?
No. Well, I'll put my glasses on. Might be a good idea.
Can you lean this down a little bit?
Sure.
I see it.
Whatever you want,
Dave
Dave.
Martin, Eagles.
Yes.
Seriously? Okay, I see him.
He's very upset about the early start.
Who cares?
All right.
We do our best to appease the fans, for sure.
We do. And again, just remember, Dave's fault.
It is Dave's fault.
I guess Keith's too, as he is also sporting
Dave's
Eagles
sound,
green.
Dave's
Yeah.
sound chest should just be him pouring liquids and then sipping super loud.
Yes. Just fresh. Hey, man, haven't seen you in a while. I think he might have hopped into the chat briefly last week.
He was in last week for a hot minute.
Welcome, Just Fresh.
Just
Ain't
fresh
no
64.
Just fresh.
I'm just so fresh and
All right, we got a lot of notes. I would imagine the main topic will probably. I don't think we'll dwell on it too much, but this could be a long one, depending on how long we go with the Q&A and all of the preamble. But we'll see. Oh, we got a new 5-star review. Dave, are you able to bring that up?
Yes. I did see that. Didn't I text you and say it was there? Thought I did.
I don't think so.
Tom Jensen gotta go in 10 minutes. All right, buddy.
Ah.
Big
Oh.
love and boo.
Hey, listen. Come on. Priorities here. It's still football time.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
You can root for the Eagles since the Raiders aren't in it.
Or the 49ers, fellow Bay Area team,
A Raiders fan rooting for the 49ers?
Stranger things have happened.
Not much.
Uh,
Oh shit, I need to get Podbelly up.
yeah. Just got to check our Facebook post, see if we got any more hate.
Hate.
Use your anger.
Sorry.
A lot of gifts of very disappointed people.
How you doing,
Oh, we
Brady?
got even another one.
Awesome.
There's 2 new ones. 2
Oh.
5-star reviews.
Sweet. You gonna read them both?
Yep.
All right. We almost ready?
What the fuck is this? Okay. Yeah.
All right. Then I got Kristen on standby in case we need any ice or anything. If you guys are ready, then we'll
I'm ready.
30 seconds of silence and roll right into it.
Okay.
And Keith, when I point to you, it's your toast.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. We'll have to, but okay.
well, just went 30 seconds of silence, Rob, because we always start with the toast. 30 seconds of silence. Starting. Just verify we're recording. Come on. I lost my mouse. All right. And again, let us know how we sound in the chat too, because, sound stuff. All right, starting now.
To me?
Hey!
That might be the best toast we've ever done
it may very
on
well
the
be.
show.
That's really good.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Holy shit. This is Red Stag Jim Beam whiskey. A little bit of a black cherry whiskey.
Black cherry.
It's very sweet, but very good.
Yeah.
I'm probably not allowed to have a lot of this.
Goes down really smooth. Oh, yeah, probably goes against your keto, huh?
Yeah, sorry about that, but sometimes you gotta spoil yourself, you know?
Sometimes you do.
Indeed. It's a very special day. And before we get there, hello, everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I am responding to chat hate.
Dave is very distracted today.
Yeah, well,
There's a lot going on.
there's a lot going on today, and I have to defend myself in the chat.
All right.
So,
Well, and we're not alone today. Joining us live in Starkiller Studios, the host of the YouTube channel Layman's Terms, and more importantly, the winner of the inaugural season of the All Things Star Wars Fantasy Football League, Keith Layman. Hello, Keith.
Hey, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Happy to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you in the studio.
cue to celebration music.
Yes.
Right there. That's what you're
Right
doing.
there.
Right there.
Future Jason, edit in music right here.
Which he won't. He won't.
I might. I may do it this time.
We'll see.
So, welcome, Keith. Keith is a local guy. I must have met you,
Years
9?
ago.
Yeah, probably 9 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago, playing Magic the Gathering over at Ron's Comic World in Mount Holly.
Yeah, Mount Holly, that's where we met, because you came in and you were wearing all these cool shirts.
Yeah, that's right.
And you had just a ton of good Magic cards. Like, you just bought boxes, like, every single week.
Yeah.
And you came in with your son, and I played him, and he beat my ass with a mono red deck. Just beat the shit out of me. It's like, good game, buddy. Good game. I had to go outside and pick up my pride, So, but really good kids.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so welcome. Glad to have you here in the studio, and we're going to get rolling. First, we got a few shout-outs we got to give. I want to give a shout-out to all of our Patreon subscribers, or past, present, and future. Tony Ferrari, Camille Donovan, Nick Jackson, Frederick Martin, Big Lovin, Scott Rasmussen, Tactical Swede, Don Solsky, and Shotgun Mark. Thank you so much for your support. You are the reason why we do this.
Fucking snaps, man.
snaps.
It's worse in person. It's gotta be worse in person.
So we got a couple other things to pimp. So Dave, why don't you take us on through?
We've got to pimp out the Podbelly.
Mm-hmm.
The Podbelly.
Yes.
Like it's a singular thing. It's not a singularity. There are 26, 27 some odd podcasts. Don't really care. Ours is the top one.
Yes.
But for all your podcast listening needs, aside from Layman's Terms, which is a YouTube channel, not necessarily a
Yes.
podcast, but you can subscribe to Layman's Terms.
Yeah, and you will do it.
While you're looking for other content besides Layman's Terms and the Escape Pod
Mm-hmm.
from our Michigan contingent,
Yep.
you have shows like the Sofa King guys and all kinds of supernatural stuff, and us at the top of it. So I'm not going to belabor it. This is going to be a long episode without all this, but go to podbelly.com. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
And then, of course, you mentioned the Escape Pod. Our Michigan contingent has recorded their first episode of their standalone podcast.
They have.
It should be going up live on our feed, hopefully this week.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to wait for them to get me the audio file. But yeah, pay attention, listen up for that. And if you see it pop up in your stream, that's why, because we are going to host them along with our episodes.
Yep. Until they get too big for their britches,
Right.
And then they have to do their own shit, because I think they're already starting to kind of push against us a little bit, like kids rebelling against their parents. It's like, we plan on having our own space. Well, yeah, fuck you too.
All right. We got some other business to take care of. Apparently, we got some new 5-star reviews.
We do.
All right. So the deal is, if you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, we will read whatever you write verbatim, no matter what you write. So apparently, Dave got a chuckle out of one of the reviews. I haven't looked at them yet, so this is all new to me.
All right. So from Not Dude Passerbuyer back on December 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So our last 5-star review of 2019.
Okay.
Our last one of the decade.
Wow.
If you can fucking imagine.
Ugh.
All right. So it says, great show, 5 stars. Love you guys. Heard all about you all through the show you did with the Sofa King guys, and I am hooked. Excellent. I'm currently making my way through your back catalog, and I'm also watching the Clone Wars for the first time.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be us too. I hope you guys at some point talked about season 3, I guess, of the Clone Wars, and some of the weirder things like the Mortis episodes, though it doesn't look like you may have gotten there yet based on the episode titles. Yes, we are
Factual.
well behind on the Clone Wars.
Yeah, we hit a wall when we finished season 2,
Yeah.
and trust me, we get a lot of shit from all of our regular listeners about catching up on Clone Wars.
Constantly.
Yeah, and there's going to be a topic as we get into our main topic later on.
What he said. Parentheses, and if you haven't discussed those episodes and or the more mythical side of the canon, I'd love to hear your takes on those things. End parentheses. These guys are funny. The chemistry is great. I don't always agree with their opinions. Who would?
Yeah.
But they're a hell of a lot of fun to listen to, and I learn something new every time I listen. So thank you, Not Dude Passerbuyer. That was a great review.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Now, the next one is a little bit shorter, so maybe we should have Hank read this one.
Sure.
Hank hasn't been around in a while, and if Bronco Fett's still in there,
Yeah. Let's bring Hank into the studio.
this is gotta clear my throat a little bit. It's been a while. This one's from 21 hours ago, from Joe Takano. It's very short and very simple. It says best. 5 stars.
Nice.
I never see Star Wars, but you are favorite. Make all dreams come true. I miss Tank Top. And that's it.
Wait, hold on.
Go Eagles.
All right, Dave, can you read that back one more good
All right.
time?
So legitimately, like it says best. No print. No, just best. 5 stars. I never see Star Wars, but you are favorite. Period. You make all dreams come true. Period. I miss Tank Top. No period.
What's tank top?
That's the tank top.
Oh, okay.
The tank top is there on Michigan Vader, and Joe Takano misses tank top. So,
Wow.
Joe,
That
the tank top it has been worn in the studio since Jason got back from his excursions all last year.
I think we could spend a whole episode dissecting that one review.
I love it. Thank you, Joe Takano, for your 5-star review. And please, if you are listening to us on the pod or watching us on YouTube, subscribe, like, share, 5-star reviews, and you will do it.
Do it. So, moving on. We are going to get to some Q&A with our guests. We're going to talk about the fantasy football season, but we got a couple other business notes that we got to take care of first. Rise of Skywalker box office. I've been following it. They haven't posted any numbers since Friday, but as of this last Friday, it had made $428 million domestically. By the end of the weekend, they're estimating it's supposed to surpass $900 million worldwide.
Huge failure!
I know, right?
Obviously. Oh my god, the worst movie ever.
Yeah, now it is going to probably close a little bit lower than The Last Jedi. I think we talked about this last week.
We
That's
did.
kind of to be expected.
The world
but
is filled with fucktards. Is
Right.
basically the answer to that.
ultimately, though, it's going to turn a huge profit for Disney, and it's no Solo for
Right.
any.
Which is a shame because
Yeah.
Solo is a good movie.
Yeah, it was
It suffered the lack of marketing or whatever. I don't know. We talked at length about that.
Yeah, there were a
already.
lot of issues with Solo itself as far as the marketing, the timing, and really the necessity of it, because it's one of those things where it was cool, but it was kind of unnecessary. Like it didn't give us anything new, I think.
Right.
So.
But yeah, obviously Rise of Skywalker failure. We obviously should not go see it for our 4th and 5th times
Right,
in IMAX, because that's the one viewing experience that we haven't had
right.
is the IMAX experience.
But we did have another viewing
We did.
over the course of this last week.
We did indeed.
Yeah,
Look at that segue.
yeah, I
Like
know.
we're fucking
That's-
There
professionals.
you go. Look at that. Phew.
So Dave and I, no Keith, sorry, but Dave and I went to the 40X experience. I think we briefly touched on this last week.
Mhm.
This is a
I
Regal.
think we finalized our plans live on the air.
That's right.
For the
yeah.
40S experience.
Which is great because that's how we do it.
Yep.
And we went. It
Live.
was in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Which is that the name of the actual town, King of Prussia?
Let's go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I always just assumed it was the name of the mall there.
It is
King of
also
Prussia
the
King
name
of
of the
Prussia
mall.
Mall.
Yeah.
You know,
The
I played it.
KOP, like, yeah.
Okay.
Just go with it.
All right.
If you're in the area, you know what the KOP is.
Yes. So anyway, we went there. I wasn't sure what to expect going into it. We had some ideas, but holy shit, man. For me, this thing blew me away. It was like being on a motion ride, a 3D motion
Yeah.
ride at Disneyland for 2.5 hours.
It was. It was like being. It was on a Disney ride for what usually would be a 15-minute experience for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It was, and it didn't get old. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like the subtlety of some of it
Right, because
was spectacular.
yeah, the big thing was the moving seats, right?
Mhm.
It had the moving seats like in a motion ride. I didn't expect the range of motion of these seats to be as pronounced as they were,
Mhm.
but there were times when the movie came to a lull where they didn't move at all. But during some of the more heavy action scenes, especially with the space flying,
Yeah.
they were moving like fucking crazy.
Yeah, I am really glad. I think we mentioned it that night. Don't make that your first viewing experience.
Okay.
You want
Yeah.
to see the movie first,
Yeah.
and then go into that experience because having already seen some of the things,
I couldn't imagine that being the first viewing for somebody.
because
That
it goes so fast, and when you're being jostled around in some of the scenes, and there's even the subtleties of what I thought was really cool, like when the camera's panning, like the seat would just move ever so slowly with the pan of the camera.
Look it out. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was like it was never, aside from like, I don't know, some of it was more contrite. Like I think we only smelled like one particular thing.
Yeah, it was always like the dirty smell, the dirt smell.
Yeah, I didn't even get that. I get like the it was
Oh,
like a
you
jung-
got
I got
out
the
of your seat
jungle-
for that part.
Oh, yeah, but I was there for the jungle scene when Keith hasn't. We have to stop right now and address the fact that Keith has not seen this fucking movie yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my own defense, I work 6 days a week. Okay, and I have 2 4-year-olds at home that don't know nothing about Star Wars. Okay, I'm a terrible father at this point for the Star Wars, but you know, my one son likes Batman, and my other son likes My Little Pony. So it's just like, you know, how do you do that? Like, how do you introduce Star Wars to 4-year-olds?
You
Like,
put
which-
them to bed and then you go to a late show.
Okay.
That's what you do.
I had an opportunity to go, but I was just like, I was so beat. I'm like, you know what? Boom, I went to bed.
You got to see it.
So
Yeah.
I know.
All right. So yeah, we won't give any details,
But there was one scene where you see Rey, and it's like, oh, I said it out loud, like, oh wow, she smells great. That was the only time I remember actually
They
smelling
have
anything.
perfume that
Yeah.
goes through the thing. That's
yeah.
cool.
Well, and there's the whole desert chase scene. You've seen it in the trailers where they're in the speeder in the desert
Yeah,
flying
she
away from the
flips
first
over
order.
the
Yeah.
speeder.
So they pump in like a dirt smell, like it smells like dust or dirt or something during the course of that, which Dave got up during his seat or during
Yeah, I
the
had to
movie for
use
that.
the head, but yeah, high wind machine, like they had wind machines going through the thing.
Yeah,
and
there was water, especially when I'm sure you've seen the trailers where they're
Yeah.
fighting on the ruins of the Death Star and the big waves are crashing against it. Water is coming down from the freaking ceiling, or
That's
it's sometimes
crazy.
it's splashing from like the back of your seat or from the front,
yeah,
or from the back of the seat in front of you.
yeah,
It's,
it was very, very immersive. Really, just an excellent experience. I highly recommend it, but not for not the first time.
No.
yeah,
Don't do
No.
it for your first time. And if you get any kind of motion sick, I wouldn't recommend it either,
right.
Okay.
because you are definitely getting jostled around real
So
good.
take like John Amin first, then go see the
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean it's 3D first of all,
Mhm.
and it's your seats are moving pretty constantly throughout the movie. There are some times where it sort of stops, but for the most part, your seat's always in some sort of state of motion. And yeah, like you said, very immersive.
right.
I fucking loved it, and I posted on Instagram a picture from us from that night.
Right.
Which, oh, by the way, Tactical Swede went with us,
Yep.
so we now have definitive proof that this guy exists. Because
Well,
for a while I wasn't sure.
For some people, they're still not necessarily believing it. I know there was some talk in the cantina about a very poor job of CGIing in Tactical Swede. So, whatever. We'll work on our mocap a little bit better for the
Yeah.
next one,
And we'll have to have him in the studio at some point as
Right.
well.
and get accused also then of like, this is the real Keith. Look,
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm really touching him.
I'm not a figment of everyone's imagination. I did win the fantasy football league.
He
Oh,
did.
and
Yeah.
by the way, Big Lovin' throwing his panties at the computer for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, I'm the Tom Jones of the podcast world.
I don't even know where to go with that. But real quick, I posted something on Instagram. I tagged Regal Cinemas, and they, in their Instagram story, reposted our picture, which is fucking awesome.
Good
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
So
so
was great.
so
Do
yeah,
what these guys said.
yeah,
That's
which
the-
yeah, I took a screenshot of that too. So we have it forever.
Yes.
It's proof that we are something. I
So,
don't know
yeah, whatever.
You should hang it on the wall and frame it. You
Yeah.
know? That'd be
There you go.
So
Oh my god. I mean, honestly, you're in the studio right now, right?
Yeah.
And look, there is so much shit in here.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. Where'd that go?
so I had to do some rearranging. I needed that, or I needed that shelving unit that used to be right there.
Uh-huh.
So I moved the one that was here to
Mhm.
there, and that one into the house because I needed it for
Okay.
Something.
reasons.
Yeah, I'm like, I was gonna say, oh, you see, because he had the entire Hoth scene
Yeah, which
Like,
the ad out is right behind you now.
and the tauntaun
Okay.
and everything. It was with all that shit was back in the corner here. You can't see
Yeah.
it on camera.
But yeah, still very cramped. We have a lot going on in the studio, but
You should check out the studio for layman's terms. It's just like off to the right. It's just like pots and pans. You know, like it used to be a mighty man cave. Now it's just like for kitty litter and pots and pans.
storage. Yeah.
Storage.
It
You know,
happens.
kids' Christmas presents.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well, that
Oh yeah,
was
that's
that
what was in here.
That
Yeah.
was over here.
Yep.
Yeah, we had
Yep.
all of our kids' Christmas presents stashed in here. But
No, they weren't. They weren't stashing here.
right,
Never look in the studio.
trust me, they don't
Jason's
have
children.
access. They don't have access. It's all
Roger.
good. Anyway, anything else on the 4DX before we move on?
It was great.
All right,
That's it. That's
All
all
right.
I got.
Yeah, if you have one of these 4DX theaters in your area, you need to do it because it was that damn good.
Every
So
Do it.
Oh God.
yes,
You got him?
yes, yes.
Oh,
Dave is outnumbered.
that is awful.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna do a little Q&A with Keith to kind of get everybody familiar with who he is, where he comes from, and I've got some special questions for him.
Who is
and-
your father and what does he do?
Yes. So we're gonna get started. First of all, you haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker. Do you have an ETA for when you think you are gonna see it?
Hopefully soon. I might just call out of work and go see it, or
Yes.
I'll just wait for it to go on. Didn't you order it online?
That
I
was
ordered
the
the
book.
book.
Yeah.
The book.
Which we're gonna
Okay.
talk about that later.
The
Yeah.
book. Okay, I'm sorry. Soon I hope.
All right.
My
Got to
birth-
see it in theater.
This is my birthday month, so I might just treat myself
You
to
should.
go see it by myself.
Yes.
So
Yep.
this is what happens when you marry the popular girl. You know. So
I like it. So, all right. Have you seen The Mandalorian then?
yes, I.
Okay.
We have the Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we have 2 4-year-olds at home, and they love Disney Plus. And then we have a Fire Stick upstairs.
Oh, okay.
So there's Disney on both screens. So I've seen the whole series of The Mandalorian,
All right.
and I love it. I
Good.
think the casting of what they did is incredible, and Cara Dune is fucking hot.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she
Okay.
is.
So that being said, with Carl Weathers, that was another big get.
Yep.
Because I'm looking at the previews, I'm like, oh my god, Carl Weathers, like this is a series, this isn't just a movie,
Right.
And Baby Yoda was just straight out of left field. First episode to come in, like I want the bounty puck
Uh-huh.
was for a 50-year-old. Like okay, fine. So they go in, and the whole fight scene with the droid was fucking awesome. That was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yep.
Self-destruct. No, you don't self-destruct. Don't do it.
I love
You
that.
know,
I
I love that back and forth. It's like fucking, Lethal Weapon or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's a great analogy.
and they go
Yeah.
and they go in, and it's like it's an egg. It's like okay, what the fuck's in the egg? Is this a callback to Akira?
Mhm.
And then they see the child, Baby Yoda, and it's just like, oh my god, holy shit, and
Yeah.
it just ended it. I'm like, that's
Excuse
awesome.
me.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, with the Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian and all the cast of characters and what's going on is just like, Favreau did a fucking awesome job with that.
Mhm.
Really did. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't wait to what they do with Kenobi.
Yeah. This gives me a lot of hope for what they can do with these other series. Now,
Yeah.
we mentioned this, I think it was last week. The bar's set pretty high now, too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
can they hold that level of quality and engagement with the fans for, multiple seasons and multiple different series?
Yeah. You can't just have Kenobi just hanging out in the cave masturbating. You know, you need, something has to
Maybe
happen.
Some
like-
people might
Maybe
like that.
one episode of that.
Maybe one episode of him, rubbing one out, and then using the lightsaber to, get rid of the cum smell, So
Wow, burn that off. I wonder how that would work. Just the,
I don't even know what to
would
say.
what would that smell like?
was that too much? Should I leave?
No.
No,
Oh,
that's
have
actually
you heard some of the shit that I've said?
that's actually a great segue into my next question for you, though.
How often do you masturbate?
Well, what time is it?
Can you fill a bucket?
So, we asked this of all of our guests, and I'm going to ask you this as well: marry, fuck, or kill Padme, Leia, and Rey.
Okay. Mary Leia,
Okay.
obviously.
All right.
Okay, because the bikini scene in Jedi, that's everyone's fantasy.
Mhm.
Okay, nerd. Fuck Rey and kill Padme.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Why kill Padme?
she's just annoying.
Wow. That's
And
interesting.
Didn't really do it for me. You
Yeah,
know?
you must not have liked her when she was knocked up. It's really the only pregnant person we see in Star Wars. Is
That's
Padme.
true.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
You do.
That's the only pregnant character we've ever seen
Yeah.
in any Star Wars movie. Interesting. I
Yeah.
never thought about it that way.
Some
But
people are into that. Some people aren't.
all right, I like it though.
Okay.
So moving on, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Empire.
Empire. Okay.
Hands down, Empire.
All right. It's that's a fan favorite. A lot of people claim that as their favorite. So do you have any emotional ties to it? Like, I'm not even sure how old you are. Are you about our age?
I'll turn 40 this month.
Okay, so you're a little younger than us. So you definitely don't have any memories of seeing it in theaters. It's just
No.
from back in the day, just knowing it was a
No, I just remember when I was a kid because Jedi came out in 84,
83.
83. So I remember something about seeing the trailer of Return of the Jedi, and I never saw it in the theater. Even when it came out in the '97, they did the re-release,
Mm-hmm.
so they cleaned all the 8mm and put it back in theaters.
Yep.
I didn't even see it then, but when I was a kid, my godmother got me the cassettes from the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So I saw them, so I know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Yeah, that's all.
All
I
right.
got.
I like it. Okay. Who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Vader.
Vader. Nice.
Nice.
You
Yes.
Yes.
There's plenty of Vader representation in this room
Indeed.
for sure.
Because the first movie, you're introduced to all these characters, and you see Darth Vader. It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And then by the end of the movie, you feel bad for him, And then you go in the backstory of just everything he's going through. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
With the suit and everything,
Yeah, getting chopped up by his best friend, left for fucking dead.
Yeah.
Kills his wife,
Yeah. Well,
Alright.
she died of sadness. Let's
Right.
Sadness.
make this clear.
Sadness.
She was, and some awful pregnancy, I guess. I don't know.
Do you ever see the meme where it's Padme falling off of the ship in Attack of the Clones and rolling down the hill?
Uh-huh.
Falls out of a flying ship,
Yep.
survives without a scratch,
Yeah.
and then is sad death.
Sad face.
So, all right. Before we finish up this Q&A session, I actually have a lightning round of questions.
Oh, man,
These
okay.
are non-Star Wars related questions.
Okay, hang on,
So,
bring it.
all right.
So,
So-
yeah, wet that whistle.
Scarlett Johansson or Gal Gadot?
Scarlett Johansson.
All right. Favorite non-Star Wars movie?
Oh shit.
Don't think, just answer.
Fuck Clerks.
Clerks. Oh, nice. Chocolate or vanilla?
I can't say both.
Cannot say both.
Vanilla.
All right. Who's the man?
Shit.
I think he already answered this with his toast, didn't he?
Nah. Bruce Campbell.
I'm sorry. The correct answer is Jason Roscom.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
So, what is the answer to the great question of life, the universe, and everything?
True. That's real deep. I don't know. Everyone Wang Chung tonight?
Nah, 42.
42
Okay.
is the answer. 42 is the answer.
What is your favorite video game of all time?
Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Nice. And your favorite band or musical performer?
Shit. Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, very
Good
good.
one.
That ends the lightning round.
Ooh, I passed.
Well done.
Very good. 42, though. 42 is always the answer.
Why
Yes.
42?
Have you...
Well, clearly he has not seen or read Hitchhiker's Guide
Yeah.
to the Galaxy.
Okay.
Read the
I
Hitchhiker-
seen bits and pieces.
You don't want to... You need to read it, because the movie is garbage.
Yeah. So now one of
Yep.
the main reasons.
Big Lovin got it right. 42.
Yep. One of the main reasons why we brought Keith on today is because we had our first season of the All Things Star Wars Fantasy Football
Right.
this year. Well, I guess technically last year. And Keith came out as the winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, because there were clear favorites.
Yeah.
Going into this, like it coming. The bulk of the season, you had Tony Ferrari, the
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah, he was dominating for a long
dominating
time.
this league, and Don Solsky was a close second.
Yeah,
You know,
and he
it's-
and they traded kind of like first place back and forth.
Yes.
Except Solsky ended up in first place by the end.
Yeah, Solsky with his self-imposed emperor status, which he has now lost,
Yeah,
because
The-
obviously
with the
we
Burger King crown and everything.
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
being rude. I'm just trying to pull up the matchup.
the
oh yeah, no
stats.
worries.
No, do you see what I'm doing all the time when I'm over here? I
Yeah, I
got
know.
this, and
I
like
know.
my ADHD is at full effect when I'm sitting here on the podcast.
Yeah,
But yeah, so by the time the playoffs hit, a lot of teams were peaking at the right time.
yeah,
You know, moves that people were making moves. The Fets, they had a nice comeback, or at least Bronco Fett did. Orange Jacket guy, I think he's been busy with his local Politico stuff.
yeah.
But you know, he was more getting into Robert's rules than he was fantasy football at the time.
Mhm.
But yeah, so teams were surging, and it got real exciting there at the end. You know, I made a reasonable push. I think did you knock me out? Who knocked me out?
Someone knocked you
It
out.
was either him or Robert Gibson, because Robert Gibson was another
That's right.
person who kind of was middle of the road and then started to surge towards the end.
Robert Gibson was the shit talker along with Keith.
Yeah, but they were the two finalists. Also.
were.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how that worked, right?
Yeah. And yeah, it's like you both were kind of middle of the road, really kind of flying under the radar. And then you offed the top two seeds, Solsky and the Canadian, and ended up in the finals, and you prevailed. So
Yeah.
now here's my question for you. Like, do you have a lot of fantasy football experience? Do you play in a lot of leagues every year?
This is the first league I played for in a while, but back in the day, I used to play with a bunch of my buddies.
Okay.
Some of the guys you knew from Mount Holly.
Okay.
And we all got together and did a fantasy football draft for a couple of years. So, I mean, I did okay. I wasn't the best, but this is the first time I actually won.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I'm driving. I'm looking at the scores and everything, and that whole last match lasted 5 days because you had Thursday night football,
Yep.
Saturday night football, Sunday,
Mhm.
and then the Monday night football.
Right.
You know, and 5 days. Like every time I checked, it was like back and forth, back
Yeah.
and forth. You know. And then I had to go back to work, and I wake up at like 3:40 in the morning. I said, "Let me check real quick." And I check. I'm like, "I won," you know. And I almost hit a deer. I'm like, "Shit," you know.
Checking while he's driving.
Congratulations! Oh shit!
Boom.
Not worth it. So Dave and I talked about having some sort of a trophy or reward
Yeah.
for this. We totally dropped the ball on that.
Oh, well,
so we will.
Fuck you.
Well, I mean, but since he's here and he is the first, what do you think? What do you think the appropriate award going forward would be for the status or the title of Emperor of the fantasy football?
How about like one of those title belts?
Oh yeah, like a
That'd be
championship
cool.
belt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, there's
like
a lot of
like
you wrestling guys that are into that.
Yeah, I think that's got to be it. Actually.
Either that or like a Stanley Cup kind of thing, so I can drink whiskey out of it. Just
Ooh.
I like that much better.
Okay. All right. We'll go to some sort of a trophy store and see what we can find.
Yeah.
And then once we have
Well,
the official trophy, we'll have
Actually,
you
what
back.
we need to do is we need to task your wife, well, because she is the best at finding shit like that at all the thrift
good-
stores
the
and shit like
Goodwill.
that.
Oh.
yeah.
yeah.
Find something that we can repurpose that, and obviously sanitize to a point. I mean, sometimes the patina just makes the taste that much better.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know?
You know.
That's just, you know, hey, it's been sitting in grandma's basement for 50 years type, just flavor,
Yeah.
delicious.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think totally. And then once we have that, we'll have to have you back since you are a local guy
Mhm.
Yeah.
and an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I live in Atco, so I'm like right down the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
So,
Hence the Atco AT-ATs.
That's
for
right.
The
You
team
guys
name.
missed the parade, man. They got me on top of an AT-AT. I walked down Main Street. It was a good time, man. It was awesome.
Damn it! Should have been there.
We should, yeah. Next time, personalize invites. We
We'll
need
do.
personalized invites.
We'll do.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, congratulations! It
Thank
was
you.
a great win for you, and again, I love the fact that it was sort of a.
I don't want to melt the chair. Sorry, buddy. You okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
All right.
These are formerly government chairs. They're not.
Oh yeah,
but-
like
but
this desk, all the chairs
This has
are
all
all
been
shit.
repurposed.
Yeah,
That's why it's so comfortable. Damn.
I know. But I forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, Dave distracted me with burning himself on the radiator. So, but yeah, good win. I was really happy to see it, and I can't wait for next year. I think
Neither could I.
we've all kind of gotten a taste for it, and now
Yep.
I think the excitement's building. I think even the Fett brothers kind of know what they're doing now, so
Yeah.
they'll be better next year, and the competition's going to be pretty stiff. But
Indeed.
Yeah,
It'll be fun.
I think it broke the ice for a lot of people that we
Yeah.
know.
yeah,
Because
You know?
it's fun. It's non-retributional. It's there's no money on it. Now I play enough fantasy shit for money that it was nice to just kind of play for
Just play for free.
play
and
for
just,
shits
who,
and giggles.
Who gives a shit? you
yeah,
know?
and it's really just bragging rights. That's what you win at
Exactly.
the end of the day, and
And you know what? To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
That's right. And that man was Rob Gibson, not Don Solsky.
right. Ooh, sad face.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Shit.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I'm starting to shit talk first thing out the gate this year.
I know, right? Just good stuff. So moving on to our weeks. For me, the big thing was we already talked about the 40X, and also Dave and I played some Battlefront again. Battlefront
did.
1 on the Xbox One. It was a lot of fun hopping on and doing that again. This is the first time we'd done it in months. And wouldn't you know it, the games are still firing. So
Yeah.
that just goes to show you the...
Yeah, we had some early rounds that were like 5-on-5, or they weren't full, but they would fill up.
Yeah.
It was, and there's probably some cheating going on in there. I think there was some people with their targeting controllers and shit like that.
Yeah,
But
but it was still
overall-
fun. Yeah, it's a great experience with the music and everything else. The level of detail on the graphics, man, I just
Unparalleled to anything, even including Fallen Order. Actually, especially to Fallen Order, because having turned that on again briefly, it really became like, because you see Fallen Orders, they have it on commercials now, right? It's like, they're really pimping out. I'm like, man, that looks really, really good. Maybe I missed something. And I go back in and play it again. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm glad I played the story. I'm glad I played it to completion. I'm always glad when you get to completion, but it just wasn't doing it for me. It's not. I think it's got potential to be replayable, where you can go back and do those things.
plus
but
on higher difficulties too.
Yeah, but right now, that Battlefront 2, not interested. I'll jump on and play Battlefront, but I keep falling back into Call of Duty. I'll tell you what, man. Are you a Call of Duty guy at all? Console gaming and all?
Not really.
So, for me, I've said it on the pod 100 times. My attention span is really geared towards like, okay, I'm going to play for 15 minutes, or maybe play 2 matches in a half hour. Good, shut it off, and then I'm good to go. You're talking about having so little time, and that the way they did this new Modern Warfare, the level of detail and the graphics and the gameplay and the physics of it, really, really good. Really good. It's that gaming engine and whatever it is that they're doing, if they can continue to build on that, they're going to destroy everything that's out there.
Yeah, well, and of course, I think we've got new Xboxes and PlayStations coming out next year, or this year.
Yeah, in 20.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
there's gonna be
Nuts.
There's going to be some ridiculous Xbox is going to come out, some supercomputer
yeah,
that they're going to come out with.
and who the hell knows what graphics are going to look like then. I still think, and maybe this is just the old man in me, I still think that Xbox 360 graphics are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like going back and playing a 360 game, again, we're guys that were brought up on like the NES and the
Right.
Atari and shit like that. So
Hey, still turn on Republic Commando or something like that, and just the graphics level and the interaction, the gameplay is still very good.
yeah, Republic Commando, that might be getting a little bit towards the old school stuff, because that was a PS2 and original Xbox game.
Okay.
But I'm
But
talking
still-
like stuff that was made for the 360. I think everything graphically on that platform was pretty damn good, and
Let's face
still
it,
holds up today.
We're like super spoiled now to fucking video games,
Mhm.
especially.
Yeah,
It-
well, kids are now because they see what's going
Yeah.
on. I mean, back in the day.
well,
it was-
I could never go back.
No.
Can you imagine going back to fucking those shitty graphics? And that's why the Nintendo Switch, because Kate has a Switch
Uh-huh.
and played some. She's got tennis on the Switch, right?
Mm.
And it's okay, but it's Nintendo.
Right.
It's not, the graphics aren't great.
No, and they do that on purpose. They want more accessibility, more family friendly, so, and more budget friendly too. So they never try to make it
Yeah,
the most
but
graphically superior console out there.
Every game though is expensive on the Switch.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's
They never like you go for an Xbox game like the what's its nuts the Modern Warfare that's out now probably in 3-4 months it'll be half the price it is right now, and a game for the Switch will still stay the same price.
right.
Like Zelda's never going to get cheaper. Smash Brothers is never going to get cheaper because people will pay it for it, and I get that. But what Game Boy, DS, like any console gaming at all?
I have a PS2 and I have an original Xbox.
Nice.
And I have a Wii that's in storage right now,
Mm-hmm.
and a Super Nintendo, and I have a one of the Nintendo Mini.
Mm-hmm.
It's upstairs, but I never have time to play it.
Those were tough.
So-
When they came out, the cord length was prohibitive.
I got the cordless.
Oh, did you get the Bluetooth deal?
Yeah, I got that. That's pretty cool. So I can sit in bed and just play that because earlier last year I was laid up because I had a hip replacement. So I was doing that and just but I have no desire about going out and buying a whole new system and buying the games, even though
Right.
they look good. Like I wanted to play Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a big horror guy.
Oh, that recent
you
one
know?
that came out.
Yeah, the recent one that came out, and the Fallen Order looked pretty good too.
Yeah.
The storyline looked great, but it's just like, hey, I'm cheap, I guess.
Well, you could watch. You could do like Jason did and watch the 3 hours of the cinematics on YouTube.
I watched a little
for,
bit. I watched a
Fallen
little bit
Order.
of it. It looked really good.
Yeah.
The guy who plays the Joker in Gotham, is he the Jedi? Like the
I
guy?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say yes.
Yeah. It's his.
I don't know.
It's his voice, right?
I think so. Dave's questioning that, so we'll have our producer bring that up.
Yeah.
and-
Where's Nick? Nick, the fuck? You're fired.
Your emperor commands it.
Yes. Get on that shit.
Oh,
Anyway.
and Supergirl 3000 says she's on it. I'm assuming referring to the finding us a trophy for the fantasy
Cameron.
football.
Dude's
can
name
be
is
drank out
Cameron
of.
Monahan. Cameron, I had a baby. It's a boy. You remember that commercial?
Yeah.
I try not to watch commercials.
It was I don't know, what was it, a cell phone or some?
It was for 1-800 Collect or something like that. It was
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
Bob. You had a baby. It's a boy.
Yeah, because he was trying to not get charged long distance fees. So, I used to call collect.
That's really good with Red Stack. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Jason's
I'll throw a little in there.
Jason's pouring himself a little libation. I don't think this is that guy.
No? All right. Then I'm...
Either way, Squirrel. So
That was a sidebar.
that's a long way to finish up my week. Dave, what about you?
Oh, dude, I have all of the things. So, I'm going to start with this because I forgot to put in the notes.
Oh, that's cool.
So, we had our Martin family Christmas gathering
Mm-hmm.
right before New Year's.
Okay.
And so they would do a white elephant thing, and I didn't bring my white elephant gift. It was some Legos.
Nice.
Usually what happens is I have one cousin that he'll like put it in there, and I'll be doing a white elephant, and he's like, you need to pick that one, and it's Lego Star Wars shit. So
Right.
fucking awesome. And we'll get back to that. But my dad picked this guy up, and you gotta. I think we can plug it in underneath there.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
put it over there?
We can, but the cord's not going to reach to where you can see it on camera.
Okay.
Well, maybe.
I think you.
Let's just see. We'll see if we can see it at least. Oh, nice.
So and then you could switch the colors. So
Oh, that's cool.
I'm thinking we have to incorporate this into our live, like when we're live, have the red Death Star or whatever. Remember we had your cube that the battery died in?
Yeah. To let us know we were live.
Yeah. So
That is bright.
yeah, the LEDs go right through the thing. Fucking amazing. Thanks,
It looks
Dad.
a lot better in person than it does on the video. You can kind of not really see it that
There's
well
probably
on
a
the video.
big glare in the video. I
Yeah.
would imagine.
Yeah.
We haven't even caught up to that yet? Jeez.
No.
God, I didn't realize there was such a big lag. So, Solsty
Very
says he's
nice.
got the Falcon one of those. Plug it into the laptop.
There's no
Ow.
USB.
It's a
cord.
It's a regular power cord.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Use some of your electrical engineering background to change the
Or
plug.
just dike that off and put something else on there.
That's what.
So,
Whatever.
like I said, I got a whole pile of shit. So I was supposed to get these out around Christmas time. Kathy had bought these for us.
What?
There are some
Yeah, they're cool.
like door hangers
Oh
for
man.
the holidays. So Merry Christmas, which seems like it was forever ago, right? Like Christmas
Yeah.
it's such a foregone
Yeah.
conclusion now that you walk into any store, it's all fucking Valentine's Day shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hate how we are always several months ahead as far as the store buying experiences.
We'll figure out where to put these.
Don't block my pops with them.
Just for
half wrong the with you? episode. So the same Martin family gathering, my niece Lillian, who's 9 years old, got me she built this. Like she got us a kit and built this.
What?
It is a snow speeder.
Oh, that's
Get
cool.
out!
Yeah. So
Good
she was
shit.
super happy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Apparently she went through a bunch of the little bags to see what she thought would be the coolest one to put together.
So wait, she built this without like any kind of.
I think there were you know how you get the bags, like individual bags, like with a smaller build.
Yeah.
And I think that's what she did. She went through those individual bags and picked out which one she wanted to build.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so cool little snow speeder. Thank you so much, Lillian. Do not watch this. I know she's not out there, so that will find its way somewhere in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Sidebar. So Ben got the Lego Advent Calendar, the Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar for
Right.
his birthday, because his birthday is the January 2nd. So Kristen's mother got him the Lego Advent Calendar for his birthday, and what he's doing is he's opening it up every day in January, because there's 31 days in January, so he's
Right.
opening each one. So there was one that he opened up that he built that I was going to bring and show it on the pod here. I'll do it next week, but I can't figure out what the hell it is, and I needed your help to identify what the vehicle is.
there is with that Advent calendar. If you've never put one together before, there is definitely some of them that you have to really kind of use some imagination to figure out what the hell it is.
Mm.
There's like okay, there's a button on the top here. It's made out of like 5 pieces, so
Right.
not they all can't be gold. Like didn't he get Rose Tika
Yes, that
on
was
his birthday?
Yeah, that was day 2. So
I'm gonna speak to this now.
okay.
So Jason already knows what this is.
Yes.
I'll hand it to you. I'll let you open it and take a look at it. So
Okay.
again, Martin family thing. My cousin Rick, or Fred Martin, a Patreon supporter, who I believe right now is traveling back to Kodiak, Alaska. He's active duty Coast Guard, and he was in Kodiak they had a USO visit with Seth Green and Jeff Ross, the comedian.
Mm-hmm.
So they advertised he was coming ahead of time. So my cousin was like, this is going to be great. So he procured a copy of Robot Chicken Star Wars. So the story behind that is he lent me, when Robot Chicken Star Wars first came out, he lent me the DVD, and I took it on the jet with me. Lent it to
Oh.
somebody, gone.
Oh,
So my cousins always contended that somebody in the Air Force is basically sharing this DVD with the rest of the world, in their travels. I truly don't know what the hell happened to it.
Mm-hmm.
So he procured this copy of it, and then they had an autograph session. They had like a Q&A thing, and my cousin got Seth Green to sign this copy of Robot Chicken Star Wars.
I don't know how well it's going to come out on the video.
And it states that, here, let me read it real quick. It says, "Hey Dave, I'm never watching your channel." And then a little bit off to the side, then it says, "Okay, I'll watch it." Signed, Seth Green. So Seth Green, if you are watching, we truly appreciate this. This is very, very cool. And if you don't remember who this was, he was the big Shrek-looking guy who picked you and Jeff up for the picture. because that's what he did. He's
Yeah.
like,
That was your cousin?
that was my cousin. So
Okay.
he was like, okay, how do you want to take a picture? You want to do something goofy? He's like, I want to hold you. So there's a picture. My cousin has a picture of him with Seth Green and Jeff Ross. Seth Green looked like he was enjoying himself. I think he thought it was a hoot.
Jeff
The other guy,
Ross.
not so much.
Yeah.
You could tell he wasn't really into it. But yeah, my cousin being a big dude and just he's a
That's
big
really cool.
he's a big lovable guy, and this is amazing thing to add to the studio collection. So
Awesome.
Yes.
thank you, Patreon supporter Fred Martin, aka my cousin Rick.
Yes. Thank you, my cousin Rick.
So what do I get? Let me check the notes. Oh,
Oh my God.
Whoa.
so remember I mentioned probably about a month ago that we wanted to start doing like the Smuggler's Bounty thing for the podcast, and that way we could do an open reveal.
Oh.
So
yeah,
this
yeah.
came
Okay.
over the holidays, and I know this is a packed episode, and we could probably do an entire thing of itself if we know what's in here.
Mhm.
Because the reality is, I have no idea what's in here.
Mhm.
I probably should know. It probably says, but I'm gonna have you open that.
Okay. Yeah. You got the knife. Sweet Jesus.
Um,
I should not give this back.
so I'll beat you. So we got the Smuggler's Bounty thing, and look, the edict in my household that for Star Wars also includes the especially the pops. Holy shit, it's a Dio.
Yeah.
Dio, my new favorite droid. When you see the movie, you're gonna love this
Okay.
guy. You think like in all the trailer material that Dio is just like this throwaway droid, whatever. We need another
Okay.
fucking droid. I love what they did with him.
So
It
it's a
was
pin. So
That's cool.
just for reference, it's very similar to the pin that I got in my Black Series crate. I got this First Order pin, which I didn't really get to show on the pod,
Oh,
but
that's cool too.
yeah. So,
So
they all come with pins.
We might need a cork board for.
Yeah, for all the pins that
For
we're
all the
getting.
pins.
All right, we definitely got a shirt in here. That's probably we got Ray and BB-8 and Dio and C-3PO. So it's basically Ray and a bunch of droids on a T-shirt.
Awesome.
Oh my God. First of all, we've got a Rise of Skywalker, looks like a postcard type thing with the logo.
Nice.
All right.
Cool.
A sticker of Ray
Oh, very cool.
Nice.
in a Pops version of Ray in sticker form.
Yes, of course, because pops are the best.
And 2 Pops figures in here.
There's 2 in there.
We've got Babu Frick and C-3PO.
Babu Frick!
Nice.
Hey! So, and C-3PO with the bowcaster, with
No
Chewbacca's
shit.
bowcaster.
Good shit.
Yeah. So, you can hold on to that since you're the Pops guy. Sorry, Keith, for
That's all right. Don't worry.
shoving that in your face.
Nice. That's awesome.
So, yeah, it came with Babu Frick, who, again, when you see Rise of Skywalker, you're going to love this guy.
Babu
Okay.
Frick, that's awesome.
And C-3PO, when he gets Chewbacca's fucking,
Wookiee Bowcaster.
yeah, the
Yeah.
bowcaster and the bandolier or whatever it is. Which we saw that in some of the preview material. Didn't know the context around it,
Right.
and the actual context when you see it, it's going to be kind of
Okay.
neat. So again, no
There's
spoilers.
Babu.
Hey hey!
Hey! I am C-3PO, Human Cyborg Relations.
Yep.
And you are?
That's good. And this was all part of the Smuggler's Bounty
Right.
kit.
So, I think, what do they come out quarterly or something? I don't even know.
Yeah,
Like I
beats
said,
me.
lots of fucking, oh my God, that was awesome. I love the pops.
Yep.
So
So we're going to talk about your stupid little football game today? Is that...
well, so lead into the football game with this. It's not stupid. I mean, there's a potential really that we could be playing you at some point.
It's a very high potential, depending on what's going on with this first game today.
So to lead into that, last night the wife and I, our anniversary's coming up. You know, happy anniversary, my lovely wife Kathleen, and also it is her birthday on the 8th. So happy birthday and happy anniversary.
Nice.
And I love you very much. So we're out. Yeah, exactly. Nitro gloves. What? Anyway, so
Squirrel.
we're out at dinner. We went to the library, Library 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we went there. It's my first time. Like, I know it's good. Everyone I know that, like, that's right down by you.
Yeah, that's in
Relatively close.
That's Voorhees.
Yeah. off of 73.
What is this?
It's a steak place, right?
Oh.
It's real unique. You go and they hand you like a, basically like a scratch pad,
Uh-huh.
and you go sit down at your table, and when you're ready, you go up to a window, like a butcher's window, and you say, and they have a big list of the meats, and they fucking take the meat out so you can see it. They slice it up, they put it on the boom, and they take it back and they cook it up. Then they have a giant salad bar that's all part of the entrees.
Oh.
It's pricey, but
I'm sure.
for anniversary type dinner, it's perfect.
It's worth it.
Yeah. So while we're there, my lovely wife Kathleen looks over at the table next to us, and there's a gentleman there all decked out in his 49ers gear.
Yes.
And then there's another gentleman, he's got an Eagles hat on, and they are hovered over their phone looking and watching the game. It was the Bills game.
Okay.
They were watching the Bills game. And my wife turns to their wives and says, "Oh, is this the compromise? They're going to take you out to a real nice restaurant, but they're still going to watch the game on their phone, right?" So they get a chuckle out of that. So my wife says, "Oh, you got to get a picture with these guys." And she is the marketing VP of this podcast. Like, she will tell anybody who.
That's good.
Like she tells everybody about the podcast. Yells at me constantly for not having business cards. When she'll pull me into some conversation that she's having, I'm like, who are you? I don't stranger danger. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Right. So she does this, and she's like, we got to get a picture with him, because his podcast co-host is a 49ers fan, and he's an Eagles fan, and there's all kinds of shit talking. So here's a picture of these gentlemen.
Nice.
The one guy was in the bathroom for an indeterminate amount of time, and I was trying to escape before we could get the picture done. But
Trying to escape.
it did not happen. The wife of one of the gentlemen was of the same persuasion as my wife and said, "Oh, no, this is absolutely, I'm calling him, like getting him out here." So, yes, to the lovely couples that suffered through our. It wasn't even suffering, whatever. Got their picture taken, talked a little bit about the game, and it was a very nice experience
Nice.
with a healthy lead in
Like
to the
like
EAGLES Eagles. So we're taping today at an unusual time.
Yes.
More unusual than usual. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going to the game. I had a Masonic brother called me yesterday. I was putting in a closet door.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The house is a never-ending series of fucking projects, and I have an energy window that was just open enough for me to start a project. Saw it almost to completion, but I'm putting in this closet door. I got a phone call in the middle of it. It says, "Hey, I know you're an Eagles fan. Would you like to go to the game tomorrow?" And I was like, right? So, which hopefully translated to yes. And so he's like, "All right, well, look, I'll send you the tickets through Ticketmaster, blah, 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 blah," right? I'm like, fucking awesome. And his thing was like, yeah, he's not a huge Eagles fan. And if it was in a luxury suite, he would have gone because of the free booze and all the other shit, but it wasn't.
And the weather.
He didn't even care about it. Well, the luxury suite, you're not affected by the weather.
Yeah.
But it's in a club suite, which is still good fucking seats.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because you get into, like, when you're go to Lincoln Financial Field and you go in the club suites, there's like a mall area you go into. So all the concessions and everything is closed in. There's like tables. So if you're like freezing and you need to come inside, you like walk from here to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the seating area is only about as wide as your house.
Right.
Like, there's not a lot of people in that section.
Uh-huh.
And it's fucking row 1. So I'm
Wow.
right on the fucking edge. It's gonna be fucking amazing. We're gonna shit all over the sea chickens. I hope, please, please. I hope, because like Keith and I were talking about, we're playing with house money this season.
Pretty much.
With all these injuries and all the shit that's happened to the Eagles, for them to win the East thanks to the Cowboys doing Cowboys things.
Yeah.
Like
Having no desire to win a football game.
none
Period.
whatsoever. Just and us peaking and getting and Carson Wentz looking like Carson Wentz, the Carson Wentz we want him to be. And now we're in a spot where we have a chance to advance in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Playoffs.
But yeah, so I'm going to be at the game, hence us recording a little bit early.
A little bit.
I still haven't decided whether or not I'm going to take the train. I kind of like having the idea. I like the idea of being able to leave when I want
That's a
and sit in the car, as opposed to getting in a crowded ass fucking Broad Street line and going all the way through into the city to get onto the fucking Patco line. But
Well, it's not the Patco line, is it? It's like you got to
Yes.
take Patco into Philly, and then you take a different line.
you
to
take the
state.
Broad Street line. So SEPTA is the Broad Street line. So
Okay.
you got to get in on the Broad Street line, and you take that all the way into the
Mm.
city, and go to like I think 8th and Market is where the connection is.
Yeah.
So then you get on Patco at 8th and Market, and you go over. It ends up being a long time, and I'd almost rather just sit in a car in traffic at that point.
yeah. Yeah.
so-
and that there's people there right now,
Oh yeah.
without a doubt.
Oh,
They're grilling and
Listen,
drinking and all
if
that
we
shit.
weren't doing the podcast today, then I would be tailgating.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
without a
absolutely.
doubt,
Yeah.
I would have been there at fucking 10 this morning when they opened the parking lots.
Yeah.
But and that's the best thing too, like those games when it's a 4 o'clock game, people have been drinking since they were drinking with breakfast, and they're drinking all the way up to the fucking game. So it is going to be a nice rowdy fucking crowd.
Oh yeah.
And if we fucking win that game, the place I'm getting
It's gonna
goosebumps
explode.
thinking about it.
It's gonna fucking explode.
And if they lose, there's going to be a lot of us that are going to go, well, that sucked,
Mm.
especially if they lose and it's close or whatever. But if they lose, it's like, okay, at some point, a professional football team has to have like legitimate players, like people that were drafted, and were starters at some point in a year.
Mhm.
At some point, that's going to bite us in the ass. But if they win and we continue to win with these players and then start getting Deshaun Jackson back, you get,
Yeah.
you start like, you look to the future and like, this could potentially get better and better.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there's a lot at stake here for us as Eagles fans. Well, I'll put it this way. The floor is, I can't even think of an analogy. If they lose, yeah, it'll suck. It'll suck because I was there. I'll never go to another fucking playoff game because I'll feel like it had been cursed.
Yeah. It was your fault.
It was my fault. Like I chose, like, I'm not wearing this to the game. I'm certainly shit not wearing shorts with 30-mile-an-hour winds and 30 degrees. But I'm going to be whatever I'm wearing. If they lose, I will never wear those things again. Because I am way too Irish and superstitious to not do that. But yeah, I'll be wearing things that I will be willing to not ever wear again. But it's going to be great. It's going to be fucking great.
So before we move away from football, now obviously, if you guys win and New Orleans wins today, you guys are coming to San Francisco.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to make a big deal out of that if this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, would you rather go to San Francisco or would you rather go to Green Bay next week?
That's a good question.
Well, that is a good question. I really think I'd rather play Green Bay.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
Green Bay. I mean, San Francisco is just a fucking juggernaut.
Yeah, the defense. What scares me the most is the defense in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
The scary part about the Packers right now is Aaron Rodgers, and it's always Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I think that magic can only last but so long.
Mhm.
Honestly, especially right now, because now we've gotten to the playoffs, I think there's a lot of really good football teams right now. I mean, we didn't even talk about the Tennessee Titans. Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
Fucking knocking the let's make sure the Patriots get into every wild card round
And then
forever
fucking lose.
and then lose. Yeah, because fuck you. I wanted Belichick to fucking just crap his fucking depends and just get fired or some bullshit. Of course not.
No,
But
that'll never happen.
No.
like, go ahead and retire, dude. Because guess what? The magic is gone. The dynasty is over. I'll jump on all that fucking Twitter bandwagoning that's happening
Yep.
right now. Just
Yep.
completely torpedoing the fucking Patriots.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Go Titans. And whatever the fuck else is going to happen in the AFC. But
It's all pretty much irrelevant at this
Yeah.
point. It's probably going to be Baltimore at this point. Like,
well, we'll see.
See what happens.
Houston pulled off a comeback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Houston pulls off a comeback. The Chiefs are still out there. Ben's Chiefs are still out there.
That is
right?
true,
With their
yeah.
first round bye. So Big
And
Red.
they were a heavy favorite coming into this season too. Like a lot of people were on the Chiefs
Yeah,
bandwagon.
they were very underwhelming though. Poor fantasy owners with and if you picked up
I
any
know.
Chiefs,
I went all in, man.
got the shit kicked out of them, Jason
Yeah.
Roscom. But
Yeah, I tried.
anyway, so yes, I'm super excited.
Yeah, so am I.
It's so silly, but we're in the playoffs, and anything can happen. Anything
Yeah.
can fucking
yeah.
happen. Look at our 2017 season where the Eagles won the Super Bowl with the backup quarterback and all those things those magical things that had happened.
It's like a part 2 of that whole season. I mean, that season was great leading up to Super Bowl. It was only 3 losses. It was the Seahawks, it was Big Red, and it was Cowboys. But Cowboys, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So that was a great season. It was of course it had like its ups and downs with like people being injured, people needing surgeries. This season is more extensive because you have a lot more people out.
Oh
but
God.
Zach Ertz comes back.
Yep. Hopefully if Zach Ertz at like 80% is still one of the best tight ends
He's
in the league.
the guy's a trooper. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy had it. We thought he had just fractured ribs, but it turned out to be a serrated kidney. Like,
Yeah.
how the fuck do you get a serrated kidney? That whole game last week or 2 weeks ago.
That
what was it?
hit was vicious, man.
Yeah.
That hurt you through your fucking couch.
And the whole time he's just like keep on getting hit in the same spot. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
the guy-
no, he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. I mean, he's no George Kittle, but
Listen,
who
Kittle's
is
gotta,
right?
Kittle's got to be careful, man. You do all that coke right before you play, and at some point it's going to come back on you. At some
Right.
point you're going to Michael Irving that shit. But Michael Irving's a Hall of Famer, so good on your boy Kittle.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, all these fuckers in the fantasy league this year, the All Things Star Wars Fantasy League, that was like, oh, fucking tight end's useless position, blah blah blah. Like, well, yeah, if you don't get one of the top 5 tight ends,
Yeah.
but manage your team. That's
Yeah.
what it's about. It's about managing your team. If you just draft a bunch of studs and you think, all right, I'm going to have this made, and you don't make enough moves and you don't pay attention to what's going on, you're going to lose fantasy games.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
That's number one. You have to pay attention.
You
see
have to
things
pay
going
attention.
on. I didn't have a very good tight end. I don't know who the fuck I had, but he got like some points.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't the best. So.
Yep. It's all about dick measuring when it comes to fantasy football.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we ready to move back to some Star Wars talk?
Star Wars.
I think we've talked enough football
Yes.
for now. So the main topic today
E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles.
is we're talking about Star Wars in 2020. So this is our first episode of 2020, and we're kind of
Weird.
just looking forward to see what we have going on in Star Wars this year. And I just wrote down a list of a whole bunch of shit. We can kind of talk about it, kind of talk about what we're going to be doing with the...
Scroll up the notes. That way, if Keith wants to look, you can see what the those bullet points are.
Yep. So, all right, I'll talk about the first one, and then
There you
we'll
go.
move on from here. So the first thing of note is 2020 is going to be the first year without a new Star Wars movie coming out in theaters since 2014. So starting in 2015, we've had a new Star Wars movie every single year, and this is going to be the first year where we don't have one.
Good.
Now, and that's obviously by design. Bob Iger and Disney specifically said, hey, we're going to pull back a little bit. We think we might be kind of oversaturating right now. Let's make this a little bit more special. So you say good. Like, why do you say good?
I say good because I don't need them to rush into another product
Mhm.
and destroy the marketing. Like, the Solo movie did not have to come out.
Right.
We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a push to get content out there, I think that's why it didn't do so well in the box office.
Yeah.
So yeah, take the year. We went years without Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Years. And it's not like we don't have anything. I mean, we're going to be on Disney Plus, you're going to get the you can do your catch up with The Mandalorian, and that's coming in 2020. The fall of 2020
Yep. Is the season 2.
is season 2. You have the Clone Wars, which I think is a bullet point coming up later.
Yep.
You have the final season of the Clone Wars
Mhm.
is going to come up. So you're not without content. And it gives them an opportunity also to really push the marketing of the DVD release, the DVD Blu-ray release, you know, the digital download, you know, how they're going to enable that into the Disney Plus world, because Last Jedi is not on Disney Plus yet.
It actually just hit.
It did it?
Yeah, it hit a few days ago.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, because I noticed it when it actually did pop up on there. Because I know when Disney Plus first launched, it wasn't there
Okay.
because it was still on Netflix. Now it is on there. Solo still isn't on Disney Plus,
Okay.
but Last Jedi is.
So cool. But yeah, we're seeing like, okay, there's some spacing out that you can put some stuff on there, maybe get some more Disney Plus subscriptions, because hey, I'm not that interested in buying Blu-ray anymore, and then maybe I don't want to buy it through iTunes. I'll just go ahead and I'll be able to watch it whenever I want on Disney Plus.
Right.
Maybe you have some extras, you know, Rise of Skywalker extras that are
Oh,
you're going
yeah.
to get through
And, I
watching
mean,
it on Disney Plus.
We're jumping ahead a few bullet points here, but we might as well talk about it since you hopped to the subject. I
That's
personally
called Dave not looking at the notes.
I personally think we're going to get it on Blu-ray and DVD first before it hits Disney Plus, because that would just be stupid for them not to do it that way,
Sure, it
because
makes
otherwise
sense.
you're going to be torpedoing your Blu-ray sales if you release it on Disney Plus and, you know, home video physical release at the same time, because everybody's just going to watch it on Disney Plus.
Right.
But the hardcore nerds like me who want to see it even before it hits Disney Plus, I'll buy it a month early on, you know, fucking Blu-ray and go through all the extras and everything else.
Yeah, and I think that's something we need to do for a show too, is get through the extras. And,
Yeah. And you know, they have a documentary every time one of these movies comes out on home video. I have a feeling the documentary for this one is going to be something to the effect of how they brought back Leia. You know, I think it's going to be them kind of going
Yeah.
through all the old footage that they used with Carrie Fisher, and then how we reverse engineered it and put it into Rise of Skywalker. That's, again, based on zero facts or inside information. That's just my prediction.
I'd say that's a reasonable expectation.
Yeah, because we had a really decent behind the scenes for Last Jedi on the Blu-ray release. It was sort of Ryan Johnson's perspective, and it had a lot of good behind the scenes stuff with Luke and Frank Oz and all kinds of shit. So
Right. They'll probably, I would imagine, like they'll do a Blu-ray, like all 9 movies, right? Like what do you think the marketing's going to be? Will they do just the Blu-ray release of Rise of Skywalker, or will they do a package release?
So
like, what do you think's going to happen?
this can go to a larger discussion, because I think they will do that. I think they will do a full box set, but this also goes back to the whole theatrical cut discussion, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Will they or won't they ever release the theatrical cut? I've seen a recent interview with, I think it was Kathleen Kennedy, where she said she kind of promised George Lucas, as they were finishing up the buyout and she was named president, that she wouldn't release the theatrical cuts, but she's not the final word in all of this. Let's
Yeah.
just say, for instance, Mandalorian's over. Everybody cancels their Disney Plus at this point. They're like, all right, Mandalorian's done. We'll see you in the fall.
Until the meme where it says that people are racing back for the Clone Wars.
True, but let's just say
In February.
Clone Wars doesn't bring back as many subscribers as they'd hoped, or Clone Wars ends, and then you get another massive drop-off. They've got these theatrical releases in their back pocket. At any point, they can just be like, okay, we're going to put the theatrical cuts out on Disney+.
I am really curious what the actual numbers are for where the drop-off is, because, you know, people joke about it, like, oh, look, you can look at memes, you can look at Reddit, and you're getting a snapshot of a particular demographic. You're
Yeah.
not necessarily getting the actual numbers. I guarantee you Disney right now is looking at those numbers, okay?
Yeah.
The end of The Mandalorian, like, people that all said they were going to binge watch it are now either have finished binge watching it. How many people actually dropped their subscriptions?
Some people that I work with did, for sure.
Really?
Yeah. But I know a lot of people, see, here's the other thing. Verizon, if you're either a Verizon cell phone or a TV customer, they gave away a year of Disney Plus for free when it first launched. So the
Which
real...
I fucking got my Disney Plus shit before I knew that was going to happen. Otherwise, I
Right.
would have fucking had a free year of it.
So the real
Sad
metric
face.
is going to come when that first year ends and all these free Verizon customers also drop off. So
Well,
there's a
at that point-
lot of fudging of the numbers and shit too that
Yeah.
that Disney can be doing right now to like tout their subscriber numbers, where really it's like all these fucking free Verizon people. So I think the big drop off probably won't happen until next fall, after season 2 of The Mandalorian.
But then there might be something else. That's
Well,
when
that-
Kenobi might come out. I mean,
That's-
and plus
yeah.
we're very Star Wars centric, right? So
Yes.
our like you got 4-year-olds, how you
Yes.
said, right? So you're going to Disney Plus to watch Mulan, and you're watching
Yeah.
like you're getting all of the Disney content.
There's a lot of fucking content. On
Yeah,
that.
there is.
Not
Yeah.
not just Star Wars. There's like.
Oh, there's all
break it down,
kinds of
there's
old.
Star Wars and Pixar and
Marvel.
National Geographic.
Marvel.
I don't know why that's on there.
I,
know.
I think it's just one of the Disney part of the Disney ownership group.
Yeah.
Is that because when you go to Disneyland they have the zoo, but the giant zoo you can drive through?
Oh, at Disney World,
In
the
Disney World,
safari.
Florida.
Florida? Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Who knows?
I don't know.
I've never been down there, so I don't know if they do any kind of co-branding with the National Geographic.
I can't remember
Uh,
if there was, and I don't really. Whatever.
Yeah, but either way, a lot of stuff can be happening with Disney Plus, and obviously every year it's like, oh, is this the year that we're going to see the theatrical cuts of the original trilogy? Who the hell knows? Obviously, but
I'm at a point now where I don't think we're ever going to see it
ever.
ever.
Even after Lucas fucking dies, Kathleen Kennedy moves on, we get a new
Ever.
president in Lucasfilm. You don't think we're ever going to get the theatrical
Ever.
cuts? Wow.
I
Never say never. Because what if Star Wars just dropped? Hypothetically speaking, if Star Wars just dropped down, it's like, well, we gotta make some content, and just they bring out the special releases, the special content you're talking about.
mhm.
See, and this is the thing. They've got this in their back pocket. They know that the fucking nerds will be all over it if they ever do this.
But even that level though. Hola.
Hello, dear.
Thank you. Porgs.
Even the I don't think they care about. They've already pretty much established. Here you go. That was from the house.
That's cool.
That's great.
My sister got that for me like last year.
Oh,
That's
that's
awesome.
awesome.
And my wife's like, this thing doesn't fit in our mug cabinet. So
Oh my god, you
it's
should have
a-
showed this to Kristen when she was here.
That
She
thing's
she would
huge.
absolutely love this.
Yeah, well, if she can use it, awesome. I know it has a home here.
Yes.
As all things Star Wars do.
Yes.
Anyway, squirrel, or porg, more specifically. No, I think Disney, if nothing else, while they might get a huge cash grab initially by having the theatrical trailers out there, I think it'll quickly die.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever see it on the streaming service ever because they don't want them to watch it in that manner. They may do a special edition 50-year anniversary release, but I think that's the only way you see it.
Yeah.
But they don't need to. They've got so much going, and let's face it. Think about what would happen if they decided to go Old Republic stuff. They make a movie about Darth Revan.
Mm-hmm.
They start really digging into, like, as opposed to going forward and going or start leaning back. There's a lot of things that they could be doing. So to solely go into that theatrical content, that's a one-off. Like, hey, we want to
Right.
make sure we want to sell an 11 movie package, right? With basically the entire Skywalker saga, or even if you just did a 9-pack, right?
Right.
Sell that for an exorbitant amount of money. Oh, by the way, with that, you get the theatrical releases.
See, now, and I'd be
You
all
could
over
charge $300, $400
I'd-
for that.
yeah,
and
I'd-
you pay it.
I'd
People
pay
would
it.
buy it.
You
Oh,
pay
yeah.
it in a fucking hot minute.
Right.
So, and it could be on fucking. We could go back to Laserdisc for God's sakes.
Right.
God only knows what the content is going to look like.
Well,
in
and
those
the
days.
thing with that too is you got to think about it. The audience for that, we're not necessarily dying off, but we're getting older.
Mhm.
The people who care about that stuff is our generation. Anybody who's come after us, they don't give a shit. So they need to kind of strike while the iron's still able to be hot. So I think they need to do this. They've got that in their back pocket. They just need to do it. And
I think we want it more than they need it.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But if they want to, make good with the fans, repair the broken fandom that's out there, then they need to fucking release it
Listen,
already.
these fucktards, like, there's so many idiots out there with legitimately all these people that say that all of these people, like, you go on the internet and you're led to believe that Rise of Skywalker was a flop, that everyone hates it, all the hardcore Star Wars fans hate it. I can tell you right now, based on 2 people that live in a Star Wars world and talk about it at length for fucking once a week to a fairly broad audience, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't see where that's coming from.
Mm.
I mean, it's still making money. I just, you saw it. It was palatable with The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And understanding why people disliked it. But now when it goes completely the other way, it's the sensationalism of media in general that creates something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, we're in a world right now that where there's a fuck ton of memes out there where people are worried about the fucking draft. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't even want to get into that, but it's like people are dumb and they suck. And I don't really care about them. Like, I'm going to tell you how much I like something, and if that changed your opinion, great. If it doesn't, I don't give a flying fuck.
Oh my god, we got to take a sidebar real quick. So I think it was Sulsky posted on Facebook. I think it was today. Thing about how we just sent a whole bunch of thousands of troops to the Middle East when we should be sending them to Australia to help fight the fires.
Oh god.
I'm picturing in my head this as I'm reading this meme. I'm picturing like a line of like army troops with M16 shooting the fire, and then the Air Force like dropping bombs on the fires.
Like,
It's not working.
It's not more fire. We need more fire. Like, yeah, this is not yeah, we send a National Guard on freaking like into emergency situations, and you send them to they're evacuating, they're doing control points.
Yeah.
They have people that's their business is to fight fires.
Right.
And God bless them, because they're fucking insane.
Yeah.
They're fucking doing hey-ho.
Yeah, go for it.
They're doing hey-ho jumps into fucking hot fire zones. They're fucking with shovels. Like, here we go. We got a parachute and a fucking shovel and like I don't know, a liter of water.
Yeah.
Like, and then they're gonna go in and they put themselves in that level of jeopardy. It isn't. I feel terrible about what's going on in Australia right now. But sending the 82nd Airborne to fucking Australia right now to fight fires, not gonna help.
I just that's all I can see is them just like shooting it with their guns, like we can't get it out.
I feel like stormtroopers trying to shoot a fucking can on the ground.
Right.
You're gonna hit zero effect.
All right, let's try to plow through the rest of this 2020 stuff. So we briefly touched already on Clone Wars Season 7. They just announced yesterday that it's debuting February 17th. So we have about a month and a half to try to get caught up on Clone Wars.
So about 6 episodes of the podcast.
Right. And I mean, honestly, we've had some listeners give us like, these are the imperative stories you need to watch.
Have we?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've
Do
even
you
talked
have that
about it.
list?
I do.
All right, well, then why aren't we doing that?
That's what we're talking about right now.
That's what I have to deal with. Like you're holding this information, and
I'm not holding anything. We've talked about it on the show.
But you haven't said that. Oh yeah, I've got the list. I know
I'm
we
pretty
asked
sure
for the
I
list.
have. Whatever. Anyway.
Well, don't you think it's like for a future episode?
Well, we're in
potentially.
the future now, so that's the
Future.
problem.
The future is now.
The future is now. Everything
What
that's
will the
happening
future
now
be now?
is happening now.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the
Soon.
way, it's the Roaring 20s now, so you know
Right.
we gotta get on this. But now, Keith,
I
here's
think when we do it, we should have fucking bow ties on and fucking
And
three-piece
Zeus
jackets.
suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the gold watches. You just swing around, you know.
Keith,
be cool.
have you caught up on the Clone Wars? Have you seen any of the Clone
I've
Wars
seen a
up to
couple
this?
episodes, like the episodes I saw on YouTube, like clips. But as far as you guys like binge watching the season,
Mm-hmm.
like no.
Yeah.
But maybe I should start with my son, just watching the Clone Wars. Let's watch.
And
this.
maybe that's the gateway drug to get your kids into it. You know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
The gateway
you know?
drug.
But I was just like, just think about just sitting one of the kids in a chair and just doing that. What's that movie? He puts his eyes out like this. And just makes
Oh,
him
Clockwork
watch
Orange.
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange.
Well, yeah, and Robot Chicken too. They fucking, in the beginning of Robot Chicken, Star Wars, like, it's the Vader chicken
Yeah.
with the eyes propped open with all the
Yeah.
fucking screens going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There
So
you go, Seth Green. See, throwing a little bit in there.
See that?
Yep. So we've got Clone Wars
See how my mind works?
season 7 starting in February. Resistance season 2 is ending at the end of this month in January, and this is the end of the entire series as it's only 2 seasons long. We saw the debut in season 1. Haven't really watched it since then, but I feel like it might be worth a binge watch once it's all over and it's all on Disney Plus.
Yeah, probably. But honestly, we need to. Like it's become emergent now that we have to get this fucking Clone Wars
Oh yeah,
shit
no,
squared away.
I'm just saying for down the line, like not necessarily in January or even February, but at some point, maybe towards the middle to the end of 2020, we take just like a broad stroke look at Resistance.
I mean, honestly, from episodes of the podcast, right? So if we're planning out the rest of our year through episodes of the podcast, which is what we attempt to do and then fail at it miserably because something happens.
Right.
Somebody has to go to fucking school for 9 months, shit like that. But really, with the book releases that are going to be out, and because we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, got
It's
Thrawn,
the next bullet point.
Yeah, Thrawn book is being released on May 5th. Is that
May,
for real?
May 5th. Yeah, which is like, what the hell? Why not just release it a day earlier? Call it May the 4th.
What is happening
Yeah,
on May
seriously.
the 4th? Like that they said, no, the Thrawn release is not, it's just going to be too much.
So it's
Yeah.
probably one of those things where it's like new books always get released on like a Tuesday, and
Oh, come on.
well, so May 5th is a Tuesday. So that's probably it. New books are released on Tuesdays,
Yeah.
so they couldn't release it a day early for whatever
The
reason.
publishers are a slave to that. They
Mhm.
and like, oh fuck it, we're going to miss the marketing opportunity.
I have no idea, but it's
Ass
also
hats.
Cinco de Mayo. So, but yeah, May 5th is when the first
Is
of
that
the new
racist?
No,
Thrawn
No.
trilogy. No,
No.
it's a celebration.
It's a celebration.
bitches.
So yeah, new Thrawn book, May 5th. The Rise of Skywalker expanded edition novel is on March 3rd. That's the thing that you pre-ordered. Allegedly a bunch of new content, some stuff involving Lando.
Yeah, so what's been kind of filtering out, and the author Carla Ray, I could be making that up, but the author had actually gone out on Twitter and said, "Hey, these questions you have, these are going to be answered in the novelization."
Oh,
So it's like, okay. Because let's face it, The Force Awakens, when we were dying to get something, like to see where we were going to go with this,
Mhm.
like we read The Force Awakens novelization, didn't get anything out of it.
Okay.
The Last Jedi, I don't even recall reading the novelization of The Last Jedi.
I know,
have it
I
on,
did- I didn't,
have it
for
on the
sure.
shelf at home. I don't see if the binding actually has any creases in it that I opened it.
Yeah.
So whatever, it could just be part of the sacred Jedi text.
the sacred text.
And then with this one, if you're gonna tease me a little bit about something like that, it's like, hey, the Lando stuff. Like, hey, Lando's not hitting on this fucking broad. It potentially could be the daughter, whatever. Allegedly, according to the author, this will get flushed out in the novelization. So, and I'm sure it'll be available via Audible or something else. I would
Right.
imagine.
Which I have like 4 Audible credits now, so I got to
Yeah.
start using the shit.
Exactly. So I'm going to read it, and no matter what. And I'm sure if we get it on Audible, or whatever, we'll plan on giving a greatest hits version of whatever's happening with that. But
Sure.
it's again, that's March. It's not that far away. So we have a Clone Wars that's releasing a weekly episode, right?
Yep.
Starting on February 17th.
Mhm.
I don't know how many episodes it is.
I think
Do
it's
we know?
12.
So we'll have a good long time of Clone Wars episodes,
Mhm.
and I'm expecting good things to come back. Kind of circle back to the Clone Wars thing
Yeah,
since I brought it up prematurely.
sure.
That's what she said. Scott Rasmussen.
Hey.
There he is.
So Use and Abuse podcast.
Yes. Listen. Do it.
Do it. Squirrel. What was I talking about? Oh, Clone
You
Wars.
Talking about Clone Wars.
See, thanks, Keith. No, I, as much as we didn't pay attention to the old Clone Wars, watching Rebels to kind of completion, like every episode of it, and seeing how they finished Rebels, I'm excited to see what the Clone Wars is going to do,
Mhm.
and especially throw on the back of that Dave Filoni product that The Mandalorian has been. Like it would take a lot for Dave Filoni to disappoint me right now.
Mhm.
I mean, he would have to like leave me at the mall by myself without my mommy to fucking really make me disappointed in him right now. So
Right.
I think for us it's going to be one of those must watch every
Oh,
week like
yeah.
The Mandalorian was.
And-
And 12 weeks, that's fucking 3 months of content.
And I
that we
have a
have time,
feeling,
yeah.
you know, we've been talking about like trying to get caught up and everything, trying to watch the essential episodes. I feel like they're probably going to produce it in a way that new viewers can just hop right in.
Well,
to where-
especially if they do it the beginnings like they did before. You had the
Yeah.
like the news guy, and here's the guy that talks like this, who's also an admiral. Da, 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 da.
Yeah. So I think they're going to, Jesus Christ.
Still sticks.
Good lord.
I think they're going to set it up so that we can hop right into it and not have to have this whole backstory of what happened seasons 1 through 6.
Right.
Just a theory, but they're going to do it that way, in my opinion. So we briefly touched on the new Thrawn book, prequel trilogy, the Ascension trilogy, first book Chaos Rising coming out in May. I'm going into it a little hesitant. I hate the idea of another backstory. I'd rather them push the timeline forward. Obviously, they're either undecided or they want to present it in a different way. What happens to Thrawn after the events in Rebels?
What if? Right, so this is a prequel, right?
Uh-huh.
What if this is how they introduce Old Republic material? What if they send Thrawn to investigate kind of like what's going on with this, like the Sith Jedi interaction, right? What if he somehow encounters like a Darth Revan, like some holocron where it brings in Darth Revan and like fully opens up that character to us?
I mean,
Like
that
a
would be pretty
flower
badass.
Opening,
be cool.
or a pair of legs opening to the
But-
promised land.
That would, wow. That would insinuate, though, that the Chiss are like long-lived species, right? Like that would, because the Revan shit all took place like 1,000 years or multiple thousands of years before fucking Luke Skywalker
Well,
and all
if
that.
we've proven anything, we've proven that the galaxy and like as like the much like the universe is so vast
Mhm.
that you can't possibly know where everything is. Like you have Exegol, right, in Rise of Skywalker,
Mm-hmm.
that is something that was off the radar
Right.
and something that our band of heroes kind of comes across with some other elements that we're not going to talk about because somebody hasn't seen the fucking movie. So
Go.
so I think they've proven that you could have like obviously the Chiss until they interact with Anakin,
Mm-hmm.
you know, back in those days, like when there's that initial interaction with the Ascendancy, that they could have existed out there, and until they were threatened with their own interplanetary struggles, then that's when they start kind of seeking other information, and maybe they're in the outer rims and come onto a planet that's a Jedi or a Sith was on
Mm-hmm.
and find a holocron. I don't know. If I was writing the story, I mean, that's a great way to introduce like something that we know works into like, hey, let's introduce it this way, and then all right, we've now established the foothold of Revan.
Right.
Now let's fucking springboard off of that.
That would be nice. And honestly, it's the first of a trilogy, so they're gonna have to go all out if they're gonna keep our attention, right? In a Thrawn prequel novel, they're gonna have to do something fucking big to where we're like, holy shit, I can't wait for the next book. So, in addition to that, we've got another Alphabet Squadron novel coming in June. I didn't read the first one. I don't know if I ever will. Honestly, it's
I'll tell you right now, I'm as we speak, I am burning an Audible credit on it
oh shit.
because I'm curious,
Okay.
and if it sucks, I will
Let us know,
I will
and
let
then
you
we'll-
know. And if I think it's something that we need to be doing, it kind of came up too. Solsky was saying that he's reading Alphabet Squadron,
Yeah.
or he's getting ready to read it, and is asking if anyone else had read it. Across the board in the cantina, at least, nobody has read it.
Right.
So there's really no input. So I'm now that we're in a bit of a lull before we go see Rise of Skywalker for the 7th and 8th times. I'll throw it on in the car
Sure.
just to see what it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? It could be great story writing. Look, we have piles and piles of writing that ended up being meaningless but was
Mhm.
enjoyable to read
Sure.
in all the expanded universe and now Legends material, right? So I guess it's not really doesn't really hurt us to go into something if we have time to do it. That's
Sure.
the way I'm looking at it.
No, you're not wrong. So, we've also got that Clone Wars anthology book coming out in August, which it's a collection of a bunch of short stories that take place during the Clone Wars. Not sure what to think about it. I guess we'll see how jazzed we are about the Clone Wars after this next season of the animated series. Again, that might be something that doesn't really get a whole lot of attention on the show. But then at the end of August, we've got Celebration.
That's a celebration.
So
Bitches.
in Anaheim,
Which I
we've
have
got
worked
Star
on.
Wars Celebration. No idea what the main topics are going to be, because normally Celebration is where we get a new trailer for the upcoming movies and everything else. What I'm hoping happens is we get more details on this new trilogy that's supposed to start in 22, the one that the Game of Thrones people backed out of.
Right.
And as of right now, we don't know who's replacing them. We don't even know if they are replacing them and if this is still on for 22. So if, history is any indicator, they've got to be producing this shit like right now. Like they've got to have a script ready. They've got to start going into pre-production and everything else if they want to get a fucking movie out within the next 2 years.
Well,
So
it all depends on the level of production too. I mean, if it's Mandalorian size production, yeah, you're absolutely right. But
well, this is a movie. This is a feature-length movie that's starting a new movie trilogy in 22. So it's already been announced. It's just the content, we don't know what it is. And then, of course, the people who are in charge are no longer in charge. So a lot of question marks regarding the next theatrical Star Wars movie. Hopefully we get some new information at Celebration this year. That's what I'm hoping. Otherwise, we're probably going to get a lot more Mandalorian Season 2, some Kenobi, and some Cassian information. But other than that, who the hell knows what we're going to see at Celebration. But after that, we've got the Kylo Ren comic book series that's going on right now. It's going to finish towards the beginning of this year. I think it's goes through April, something like that. The Rise of Kylo Ren. It's one of those things where I might pick it up on Marvel Unlimited after it all pops up on there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy the comics to do it. Keith, do you read any of the Star Wars comics at all?
No. Years ago, I read the alternate universe of the 3 original movies.
Oh,
So
yeah,
at
yeah,
at
the Infinities,
end,
yeah.
At the end, when it's Luke, Leia, and Vader, and they want to go out the Emperor. So Darth Vader survives. They jet out of there, and then he does his armor, and it's all white.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's the bourbon talking.
No worries.
I think we did, didn't we? Talk
Yeah,
about
we
the
covered
Infinity?
covered that
we
in
did.
an early episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really unique comic book series. A little ridiculous seeing Vader in the full white armor, though.
Right.
But speaking of Vader, there's a new Vader comic series, like the
Yeah.
previous 2 Darth Vader comic series.
Listen, as somebody who was, when the Star Wars stuff came out, the came out, I was getting all of it. It was a Marvel subscription, all that other stuff, and I slowly started to back out of that. So I was just getting the original Star Wars. Now there's so many offshoots. Apparently there's a Knights of Ren comic that's out there.
I think that's part of the Rise of Kylo Ren
Is it?
series.
I-
Yeah, because
whatever.
it's like him and Luke fighting against the Knights of Ren. I don't know. It seems weird.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we really, yeah.
Well, and it's like the
without-
Phasma comics. It's like we
Keith,
completely
earmuffs.
we completely wasted this fucking character on screen, so now we'll do something with them in the comics, right?
Yeah.
Same thing they did with Phasma, they're going to do with the Knights of Ren, probably. So, anyway, you're good. So, to kind of speed along here, big thing that's happening this year, and I think it should be a dedicated episode of the podcast, is the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. So, it came out in 1980, which we're in 2020.
Yeah.
40 fucking years
Jesus.
since Empire Strikes Back. So I think we have to do. In fact, Empire is the only Star Wars movie that we have not done like a retro review on through our
There you
years
go.
of doing this show. So I think we need to do a look back at Empire Strikes Back, watch it start to finish,
Yeah.
take notes, do an in-depth analysis of it from a perspective of today, and do that for the 40th anniversary.
You should set it up on a VCR. We'll sit in here and watch it. Watch the.
I've got everything.
Oh, that's
I've,
awesome.
I've got the VCR down there. I've got the VHS tapes over here.
Cool.
That would
Yeah.
be spectacular.
Yeah. So we will
We
do
should
it.
try and do that.
Theatrical cut, obviously. Now, we've also got like a new Lego Star Wars game coming out this year.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I'm a Lego Star Wars guy,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
I had the Lego Star Wars game on every platform that we owned.
Even
had
the
it on-
iPad, right?
Had it the iPads, had it
Cool.
with Xboxes, and back on the PlayStation when I was still doing PlayStation. We had it on the Wii. It's just it's a really really fun game to play,
Mhm.
and it's something that you can just delve into for hours and just kind of lose yourself in it, and it's just great, and it's Legos, and what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Everybody loves Legos, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, who doesn't like
Can't go
Legos?
wrong.
And then you can't really say Lego and Star Wars outside of, the same sentence anymore. It's Lego Star Wars. It's a thing.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Now, we've also got the Obi-Wan series is supposed to go into production this year. We're not going to see it until 21, but they're supposed to start filming it at some point this calendar year. Same with the Cassian series, though we're not nearly as excited about that one, I know. And then, of course, their Mandalorian Season 2 will debut at the end of 20.
Yahoo!
But we don't
Gotta
really
work
have
on my
much...
Babu Frick.
We don't have much else for the end of the calendar year because I think everything is going to kind of build up towards Celebration in August.
Right.
And then after Celebration, I'm sure they're going to announce a bunch of shit. And we'll kind of get that trickle out throughout the rest of the year.
So interesting. Before we get away from Kenobi, interesting conversation I was having with my cousins the other day. They're both of them. They're big Star Wars nerds.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a family thing,
Sure.
and they're really reticent about a Kenobi series, much like we are, because we feel like they flushed out a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I want to be excited for Kenobi. I want to see Ewan McGregor. I want to see. What I want is the Kenobi book. I read the Kenobi book. It is an excellent read for what Kenobi was doing on Tatooine. And honestly, in the novelizations that we've read, Master and Commander, all those, we know Kenobi's story.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna have a fetus, here's a fetus, and then here's a fetus with metachlorians or whatever. I mean, that's gonna be a suck salad. But I think the only time you could really look into him is his time on Tatooine, and how much of that, in the Kenobi book, that was one book, and basically covered the entire time frame, and did it very well.
Yeah.
I don't know what you can do otherwise. How do you make a series out of that? I don't know.
Yeah.
And so that's one where, while it's a beloved character, I don't know that they can do it well. And I think that's the general consensus. I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, yeah. What are you going to do to make it interesting, right? Is it just going to be him sitting on a hill watching Luke as he's growing up? I mean, or what are you going to do that's going to keep the audience wanting to watch, like you did with The Mandalorian, where the last scene of the first episode was, holy shit, it's a Baby Yoda.
It really hooks you in.
Yeah.
Maybe the last episode of season 1 they do, or of episode 1 they have Liam Neeson come back as a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, they got to do something, right?
Yeah, he has to go off the planet. He can't just sit there. I mean, maybe he has a conflict with Darth Maul or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But again, we have Clone Wars. We have so much stuff out there already that covers this time frame.
And it's 17 years. What goes on in 17 years? A lot of shit.
That is true.
Yeah. So maybe some some guy's like, hey, I need your help for something else. So he goes off and does a mission and comes back. Is Luke okay? Oh, yeah, he's fine. Masturbation time.
Yeah. Cave masturbation, take 2, action. Oh, that went way too quick. All right.
That's
we'll fix it in post.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. More discussions will be had about Kenobi as we go throughout the year, I'm sure. As far as the podcast goes, so I have a few things that I definitely think we should be doing in 2020 as far as the podcast goes. Obviously, more Rise of Skywalker discussion. It's still kind of fresh. We need a couple more viewings and then have it come out on DVD or Disney Plus or whatever, kind of really soak it in, and really soaking in the whole sequel trilogy as a whole. I think I really want to sit down and kind of watch the 3 movies back to back to back,
right,
and kind of get a feel for how the whole trilogy flows, how I feel about it. And I think there can be some deep discussions about that.
Depending on how well things flow over a goddamn drainage ditch in the middle of it.
Okay. Well,
otherwise known as The Last Jedi.
Right. Fair enough. We've got the Empire 40th anniversary that we already talked about. Also, this might be the time to get into some Legends material that we've been meaning to touch on. Mm-hmm. Specifically stuff like the Republic Commando books. I know Bronco Fett's been very adamant about us covering those.
Yeah.
and it's something that doesn't really, in my opinion, seems like it would conflict with current canon. And even if like there is like we wanted to start touching on some of the other Legends material that does conflict, now would be a good time to do it. Now that the whole Skywalker saga is completely finished, it could be a good time to start dipping into this alternate reality
Sure.
and start looking at some of that stuff because. God, again, there was so much out there between the Vong series, the Fate of the Jedi, and what was the other
New
series?
Jedi Order.
New Jedi
Oh
Order.
no, that was the
Vong.
series.
Um,
it was something like Fate of the Jedi, and then
Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, those three major big story arcs that were like 10 plus books each.
Yep.
You know, we could eventually start touching on stuff like that if we had the time. That's always the limiting
that's going to
factor.
be the trick. It's going to be we have new content. 2020 we see a movieless year to begin the decade. However, we still have a lot of fresh content.
Sure, but this is going to be the first year of the podcast for certain that we haven't had a new movie to talk about or a movie to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know, even if we like didn't have a movie out at the time, it was always new trailers, new info about the movie. We got nothing this year.
So do you get the impression that Jason's worried about us making content out of nothing?
You guys have a limited amount of content. You guys
Yeah.
will be fine.
Right.
I think every
Yeah.
single time what's really funny
Plus-
is every single time Jason sits down here and thinks, "Oh my God, this is going to be such a great episode. We're going to need to do this." 2.5 hours later, here
Knocks
we
it
are.
out of the park.
Yeah. So, Jason, don't worry.
Be happy.
No, that's happiness is a lie.
Wow, that's a
Wait,
deep comment that
what?
we'll have to further analyze at a later time. But I think this would be a good time to close out the show because, quite frankly,
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so I think we need to go ahead and finish it. But before we do, Keith, I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about layman's terms? Anything else?
Just subscribe to layman's terms. I'm just doing this as a whim, just when I have time, because with you guys and with the guys up in Michigan, Don Solsky and Brady Lovin, they just caught the bug of doing podcasts. So I'm like, well, everyone else is doing it, why can't I?
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
And then I'm looking at Chris Jericho. If you ever listen to his podcast, what does he do? He talks about wrestling, rock and roll, and horror movies. I'm like, I can fucking do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just told I told my wife, like, this is what I want to do. She's like, I don't give a shit. I'm like, cool.
Perfect.
Typical wife response too.
To the man cave.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't care. Fucking
You
do what
know?
you
Yeah,
want.
whatever.
Don't mention us.
Don't embarrass us.
Yeah.
No. So
Thankfully, our wives never said anything
No.
about embarrassing them
But-
because we've been doing that for 2 years.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just want to say thank you to the subscribers. I have 27 subscribers right now. It's mostly family. So and
Awesome.
Whenever I go to family functions, like, I really enjoy your videos. Like, really? You like them? I like the one where you cook. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Not so much the magic, but just like everything else.
yeah, and
You know?
I'll put a link to layman's terms in the show description of the audio version
Thank
of this
you.
podcast.
Yes,
so
yes.
Appreciate that.
click that link, subscribe to layman's terms, give Keith's videos a view, and just as an example, a lot of the things that you do, at least for the couple that I've seen, is you open some packs of Magic cards.
That's always
Which-
a grand finale.
Okay, which that's a big thing that hits close home to me
That's
because you and I met through Magic the Gathering. I still play it. In fact, I've been getting back into it a lot over the last like 6 months.
Good
So
for you. I'm just like buying packs and just opening up and just like tossing them away. But I still have my trade binder.
Yeah.
My best man I met through Magic.
yeah, and
So-
my son has been getting me into Commander a lot. So now I'm finally
That's
starting
cool.
to play Commander.
That's cool.
So we're going to the big Magic Fest at the end of January up in North Jersey. So
There's one in Cherry Hill in April. At
Is
the end
there?
of April. It's at the Holiday Inn
no
on
shit.
70. Yeah.
Oh, we'll have
I'll
to
let
talk
you
about that
know.
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. But yeah, again, check out layman's terms. I'll put the links in the show description. So go there, subscribe, and you will do it.
Do it.
All right. Anything else from the rest of the folks before we
Check
head
out podbelly.com.
Yep.
Royal Podcast Needs. Tell them that All Things Star Wars Podcast sent you.
Yes. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes, please. We will read it verbatim. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/ATSW podcast.
Yes, please.
And I believe that will finish for this episode. We got a big 2020 in Star Wars coming up. Lots of shit coming down the pipe, and there will be no shortage of content. And as always, also check out Used and Abused. with Scott Rasmussen,
And yeah.
who was in the chat right now.
Yep.
Who?
Did you say the escape pod?
Yeah, we mentioned them at the beginning.
Okay, I'll mention them again at the end.
Okay, this is the end.
Check out the escape pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. See,
Good job.
All
the
right.
Emperor has spoken.
I am about to burst, so we need to finish this off. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Keith, for joining
Thank
us
you for having
today.
me.
Thank you,
And
Keith.
until next
Fun to
time, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Made a faithful with you, and also you. I should drink that.
Okay, now what do I click?
All right. Holy shit, 2 hours.
Wow.
See, that's what we do.
It goes by quick.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That was actually relatively short.
That's what she said?
We went fast.
Yeah, yeah.
We went fast through a lot of shit.
Well, I know you guys have shit to do, so.
I didn't interrupt you guys' flow, did I?
No, not at all.
Good.
Not at
all
all.
right, cool.
I felt like a lot of the times,
Flow.
like, yeah, like we weren't including you enough, and I'm like,
Don't
we
worry
gotta,
about it.
we gotta bring Keith into the conversation a
No.
little
Well,
more.
and that's what's funny. Like we've had the other guys that have been on it, like tell us that like they get caught, they catch themselves spectating a little bit
Yeah.
because you're used to watching it.
Yeah,
On
that's
the-
what I felt like.
And that was Brady and Don too. They were like, God, it's like this. The window you think is going to be right here to watch us.
Yeah.
So
Babu Frick came in this.
I know.
So excited.
You didn't have either of those before?
No,
There you go.
You didn't pre-order either of those before?
I did not.
Okay, good.
I pre-ordered some of the newer Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah, we are still live. Just so you know. The audio is exporting right now. Oh my god! All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna piss real quick. Oh god! Oh god!
We should just have one of those urinals that doesn't require waterless urinal. You can go pee.
Yeah, I have to go with him. Sorry.
Well, then I'll bring you into the house.
Yeah. Oh well, it's good then. Oh, we're still live. Look at this Babu. Oh, that's 3PO. Look at Babu Frick. Isn't that fucking great? Oh, I love it. There's no place. There's no place for them to go. Jason not wearing any Niners gear. That's because it's Eagles Day. Niners are on a bye. Scott, you missed it earlier when I was talking about the people that were having dinner next to us for our anniversary dinner last night. There's a guy, he was wearing all his 49ers gear. They're having dinner with an Eagles fan and their wives. They were watching the Bills game. Excuse me. So they look, today it's Eagles Day. Obviously, we had an Eagles fan on the show. I'm getting ready to go to the game here in a couple hours. So I am fucking super excited for that. God, I hope they win. Excuse me. I know that I should not be disappointed with a loss given the way the injuries are and everything else, but I want them to win. I want to see them win. So, and they can beat the Seattle team. So, we'll see. But I'm really looking forward to. Right now, I'm looking forward to taking a pee because I'm not just gonna leave a blank thing for. Oh, I cannot answer this right now. Sorry, I can't talk right now. So yeah, what's up? Scott? Are you the only one left in the chat? Who's out there? I know because of the timing this week. Oh, there's 3 watching. So the timing this week was difficult just because of me going to the Eagles game and making sure we had enough time for Keith to come on, which he actually has to leave here in a few minutes because he's got stuff going on. As much as we thought it would be easier to do it on Sundays, like with football still going on, it's actually harder. Just ironic. Oh shit! Ow! Oh my god! Woo! Babu Frick. So awesome. I'm gonna put Babu here. that. These guys like that. Yeah, these all have to be arranged. A little more angle on that. Still can't believe Keith hadn't seen the fucking movie yet. It's fucking crazy. Oof. So yeah. Hopefully, Scott, you'll be watching the Eagles game, and anybody else who might be watching this after the fact has probably already stopped watching because honestly, this is not very exciting. Holy cow, I got to be. Holy cow, yes I do. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to be... In fact, I haven't really... I looked quickly to see where I'm going to be sitting. It's in a club suite, which is fucking phenomenal. And they're only... I think those seats are only between, like, the 30s. So, but it's... You have the luxury boxes with, like, where they have the glass and stuff, and right over those is usually the club suites. Small sections. It's going to be great. My first playoff game ever attending. So really, really exciting. All right, the guys are coming back. Stay there, Scott. Hurry up. Go. Hurry up. Wait.
Oh my god. Oh shit, I completely forgot about that. Whoops. Alright, we're signing off of the YouTube. I completely forgot to turn it off before we went to the bathroom. Hopefully Dave entertained you guys. Until next time.